Welcome back to another episode of The Fighter and the Analyst. I'm your host, GK The Fight Analyst, and this here is my man, the Joker himself, Peter Petties. What's up, man? How's it going?
Sean, another day, another dollar.
Yes, and we have to congratulate you, man. You gotta congratulate you. Well done. Well fucking
Thank
done.
you.
Good job. Very proud of you, man. Let's talk about it. We got to talk about it. We need to know how did it all go down? Like, I just want tell us the whole experience. Let's start from there.
Experience was cool, honestly. It's one of those things where it's probably one of the best trips that I've ever had fight wise. And what I mean by it was just so chill. Weight cut was pretty smooth, other than a little botch scale thing in which I weighed in 2 pounds light. But no, the whole trip, the whole experience was just good. It was good vibes, nice little vacation. Ironically, the coaches couldn't make it, unfortunately, so I had like the B/C squad of coaches with Stefan and one of the guys who he owns a company in DC. A big actually weed company, which is pretty funny. But he did some dope ass camera work, and he's supposed to be editing the film this week, and I think it's going to come out really well. But yeah, no, it was overall a good trip. I couldn't ask for a better return fight at 55, let alone, it's just one of those things where, as we talked about, just staying positive, the stars aligned and everything went good. I can't complain. When I rewatched the tape, I definitely should have got the first round finish. But, I think the ring time doesn't really hurt.
Yeah.
I was able to show at the end of the day, you got to have some levels, as I said, meaning I think there's a misconception that my takedown defense is horrible, let alone my, submission defense. And I think I showed people like, man, you got to at least be Division II All-American to take me down. Like, I ain't that big of a bum. But, in MMA, man, it's what have you done for me lately? And it's one of those things, you're only as good as your last fight. So it's good to get the monkey off my back with the PFL loss, and just to go out there, a guy 10-3, you know what I mean, kind of show that there's levels to this and strength of schedule, and work my way back. I'm excited to stay busy. Hopefully something pops up in July, but outside of this week, just being fat, drinking a little bit, and then right back to the grind, man.
Yeah, I love it, man. I was going absolutely nuts. During that first round, I'm like, oh my god, he's got it. He's gonna finish him. I'm like, oh no. And then, like I said within 3 minutes, you knocked his ass down within 3 minutes. I had a feeling. I'm like, once he feels that power, he's gonna go down. And he didn't want anything after that. And what I didn't like about the damn refs, though, I mean, like, what are you doing? You let him up. You just don't let him lay there. Get him up.
They definitely milked the clock a little bit. And then when I was listening to the judge, not the judging, the commentary, they definitely made that fight seem a lot closer than it was.
Yeah, bro. I was yelling at the screen the whole time that they're talking. I'm like, what are you guys watching? I'm like, I don't know how they gave him one round, to be honest with you. I really don't.
Yeah, and I've been there before where I was on the losing end of stupid split decision, and I knew, being in a hometown backyard, after that second round, I was like, they're gonna try and give him that, and that's why I came out immediately in the third round. I was like, I gotta punch this motherfucker in the face.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Show some type of dominance, even if I don't get touched. I will say, my little Wolverine healing powers, but he hit me with 2 shots. One was right in the eye, and one was right on the lip, but it's already healed and everything. But it's just one of those things where, the guy, he's only 26, and I always tell people it's a marathon, man. If the kid sticks to it, there's not too many people who are signing up to fight me, so I was excited that he took it. He showed up, made weight, like a man. So, as long as he goes back to the drawing board, works on things that, stand up a little bit, I think he has a bright future.
Yeah, I don't think it was terrible, to be honest with you. I mean, like you said, a lot of people aren't going to take that fight, especially on short notice against someone that has 14 fights on his record against top level competition. But man, you look sharp in there. You look really sharp. You were fucking huge. You were massive. So tell everybody what you're weighing on come fight time.
I gained about 30 pounds. I was back up to about 184. Yeah.
That's insane. That's insane.
That's the good old Lockhart nutrition rehydration process.
Yeah, I mean, you look like a whole weight class bigger than this dude. Come fight time, I mean, you were literally massive. Like I saw like the width of you and the width of him compared to each
Yeah.
other. I'm
Nah,
like, damn.
it's funny. Like you said, you posted my weighing pictures. I was like, oh, why you find these crackhead pictures? At least let me get some hydration in.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, you look phenomenal. I was happy to see you finally get in there, putting the work that you've been, doing for the last year or so. I'm just proud of you. You went through a ton of shit, over the last year during the pandemic, your surgery, everything closing down. But you're like, I'm not giving up. Shit, things will happen. Stars, like you said, stars will align, and then things fell in place, and then it fell in place right into your lap, and then you're able to get the win, get right back on track. Hopefully you get another fight coming up soon. I know you got some things in the works. Hopefully we'll get that you'll get that squared away, and then get another win under your belt, and then keep on going. So sky's the limit, man. And I'm looking forward to your journey, back to the top, because you were there. You were right there. And we know here on the podcast that you're going to get right back in there, get right back to it. That's for sure.
Sure.
Yes. All right. But we have a massive fight card on top. What was that?
No, Jesse told me to shout him out. My bad, Jesse.
Yeah, he's like, did he shout me out? And I'm like, nah, man, nah, he didn't. He's like, God damn it. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm pretty sure he was gonna do it, but All right, but we're here to break down this massive pay-per-view this weekend, UFC 263, headlined by none other than the Style Bender, Israel Adesanya, and Marvin Vettori. It's going to be a banger of a fight. Co-main event, you got the flyweight title on the line. Deiveson Figueiredo taking on Brandon Moreno. Nate Diaz is back, taking on Leon Edwards for the number one contender spot for the welterweight championship. Tons of great fights up and down the card. So let's get right down into the breakdown. All right, our first fight up is in the heavyweight division between Carlos Felipe and Jake Collier. Right now, Felipe is a minus 170 favorite, and the comeback on Jake Collier is a plus 150 underdog. Who do you got in this one?
This is I really think like an underrated heavyweight fight. I do like Carlos Felipe. My biggest thing is his last fight, I can't remember who he fought, but he's one of those guys where I was actually very pleased with. He was trying to bang man, and I'm always going for the strikers. So, I'm going with Carlos Felipe. I'm going to lean towards him in this matchup.
Yeah, it's pretty low level, but at least these guys are going to go in there and just bang it out. So at least I think it'll be entertaining, especially being the first fight on the card. I think Carlos Felipe probably has it. I don't think I would probably bet it at minus 170. I think he's a tougher of the two fighters. He doesn't get finished. He's 10-1. And Jake Collier, he's 1-1 at being heavyweight, but his only win was against John Vellante. And John Vellante obviously is not a super high level athlete, especially at this time of his career. So I'm probably going to take Carlos Felipe. I think he's going to be a little bit faster. And I think he packs a little bit more of a punch. So, yeah, I'm on Carlos Felipe as well. All right. Next up, we have a fight in the lightweight division between Faris Ziam and Luigi Vendramini. Right now, Ziam is a minus 135 favorite, and the comeback on Vendramini is a plus 115 underdog. Who do you got?
I do not know Luigi for the most part, so I'm gonna be biased and go for Ross on this one.
Yeah, it's a tough fight to call. I mean, I think these two are pretty evenly matched. I'm not gonna really bet on this fight. But if I had to take a side, I'd probably take Ziam. I just think he's being the taller fighter, he uses his range very well, uses his kicks to stay out of harm's way. And he looked okay against, I think, a better fighter in Jamie Molarkey than Luigi. So if he was able to get a win there, I think he can get a win against Luigi here. All right. So next up, we have a fight at 145 pounds between Chase Hooper and Steven Peterson. Right now, Peterson is a minus 120 favorite, and the comeback on Hooper is a plus 100 underdog. Who do you got?
What was the Oh, wait, Peterson's the favorite here?
Yeah, slight favorite, minus 120.
Man. For some reason, I was hoping Chase Hooper was the favorite.
I know. I was with you on that too.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Steven Peterson on this. I, as you probably know, I've never been sold on Jay Super.
Yep.
I know they're hoping that he gets a sloppy takedown and chokes out Steven Peterson. But if you look at Steven Peterson's record, I don't think he's really been submitted. When
Never.
he loses by decision. And I think this has a tailor-made fight for Steven Peterson to just come and beat up the 21-year-old now. Is he 21 or
I
not?
think. Yeah, I think he's 21. Yeah, I think he
Yeah,
just turned 21.
I think this is one of those where Steven Peterson just beats him up brutally. Yeah, I'm all over Steven Peterson on this one.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. I'm actually gonna place a bet on Steven Peterson, especially at minus 120. Obviously, he has some much more experience, over double the amount of fights against far higher level of competition. Chase Hooper was down 3 rounds to 0 against the none other than Peter Barrett until he got the Hail Mary leg lock that he did.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as Peterson keeps his fight on the feet, even if he takes it to the ground, I think he's well versed in jiu-jitsu. I think he's a brown belt. That he's not going to get subbed. It's not like Hooper has some. He's not super strong on the mat. He's just got really long limbs, and he's able to sneak in. His long skinny arms underneath the necks, and the long limbs. He could snatch your legs. I think he's going to be well versed there, and he's got some good training partners. I think he's at Factory X, if I'm not mistaken. To roll with. So I'm taking Steven Pearson here. I think he should be able to weather, and plus Chase Hooper only has like a 7% offensive grappling success. So the chance of him actually taking this fight to the mat without rolling for a leg or just hopping on his back or something like that, I think it's very slim. So yeah, I'm taking Steven Pearson here. I think we're getting still a good line at minus 120. All right. Next up, it's a fight at 155 pounds between Matt Favola and Terrence McKinney. Terrence McKinney's taking this fight on short notice, about 3 or 4 days notice, because Frank Camacho was in a pretty bad car accident. So hopefully he's doing well after surgery and all of that. But here we are. Favola is a minus 245 favorite, and the comeback on McKinney is a plus 205 underdog. What do you got?
I think we found our first sleeper of the night. I'm going Terrence McKinney. I think at plus 200, it is not a bad shot to roll the dice. I think he just got a KO, June 4th or something like that?
Yeah, very soon. Yeah, I think it was like a week or two ago.
And it was like a first round knockout too. So why not roll the dice on a plus 200 underdog, especially against Matt Favola? So let's go, Terrence McKinney. I think I'm going to place that bet too.
It's not bad. It's really not bad, especially at that kind of line. Terrence McKinney's tough. He's got the wrestling credentials. His striking has gotten a lot better since the Contender Series, and that he's coming off 2 knockout wins against decent opponents. I think Favola probably would be in better. I don't want to say better shape. I think it'd be the stronger of the two, but Terrence McKinney is still crafty. He's a good striker, and
he has 3 knockout wins.
Back to back. Really?
Yep.
Oh shit!
All first round.
That's not. Oh yeah, that's right. 3. Right, you're right. 3 knockout wins back to back. That's impressive. And then we've seen Favola get hit a lot. We've seen it. We've seen it get tagged. It's possible he can get caught here, especially if he thinks he's just going to come in and just wrestle McKinney to death. So we'll see how it goes. I might lean towards McKinney with you here at plus 200. Now to think about it, I think that's a pretty decent dog play here. We hit a ton of dogs last week. I was on a fucking tear last week. So let's keep the dogs rolling this week. And both short notice debut fighters won last week as underdogs. RoboCop won as an underdog, and then Kamuela Kirk. So this could be another short notice debut underdog winner as well. So let's get it. I'm with you as well. Terrence McKinney plus 205. Let's get that money. All right, next up, we have a fight at 135 pounds between Penny Kianzad and Alexis Davis. Kianzad is a minus 190 favorite, and the comeback on Alexis Davis is a plus 165 underdog. Who do you got?
So this is one of those where you're like, I don't really know, but I'm gonna go and roll a dice with Kianzad just to say it.
I think Kianzad is definitely the much better striker. She's got the volume advantage. She's much more crisp when it comes to her strikes. Alexis Davis is a grinder. You know, she just comes forward, tries to get a hold of you, drag you to the match. She kind of did that against Sabina Mazo, where I'm just hoping she doesn't do that against Kianza, because we've seen Sarge get on top of her and just keep her flat on her back. But then again, Sarge is, you know, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, a champion Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. So I think she's more well-versed than Alexis Davis when it comes to, you know, being on the mat and keeping someone there. But it's just not a good look if you're trying to bet on, you know, Pani Kianza. But I do think she's able to keep this fight standing and, you know, beat her pretty soundly on the feet. All right. Next up, we have a fight at 145 pounds between Movsar Evloev and Hakeem Dawodu. Right now, Evloev is a minus 230 favorite, and the comeback on Dawodu is a plus 190 underdog. Who do you got?
Hey, this is a good one. I think we got possible fight of the night here.
Absolutely. This is a great fight.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go with, depending on what Hakeem shows up. I think that's the biggest thing.
He looks in impeccable shape, though. Like, I've seen him. He looks fucking ripped.
I think when you look at like strength and schedule, you have to go with Hakeem. So yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go with Hakeem. I think Ivalov got touched a little bit too much by, who was it, Nick Lentz or so, his last fight.
Right.
I mean, he was still looking very smooth throughout that whole fight. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Hakeem on this one. But definitely a toss up. I ain't touching this fight, but I think it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I don't like Evloev at minus 230. His path to victory is literally just taking him down, holding him down. No one has done that to Hakeem yet. Zabara went 1 for 7 on his takedown attempts, and that was majority because of the kicks of Hakeem. He throws a ton of thunderous leg kicks, and no one has thrown leg kicks against Evloev that Hakeem's going to throw. So it's going to be interesting to see how Evloev does, you know, against leg kicks, against his lead leg getting absolutely battered. And we know wrestlers need that lead leg in order to shoot in for takedowns. And you can't come forward if you're getting your lead leg battered by calf kicks. So I think I'm going to lean a little bit towards Hakeem here just because of the line at plus 190. He has a considerable striking advantage here. And he's by far the best striker that Evloev has faced in arguably his entire career. So I think it's going to be really close. He's showing good takedown defense. He's not been, controlled on the mat yet. So we'll see how it goes. I think it's hard to take Evloev at minus 230. I don't like that line on him. But I'm going to take Hakeem Dawodu at plus 190. All right, next up, we have a fight at 125 pounds between Lauren Murphy and Joanne JoJo Calderwood. Right now, Joanne Calderwood is a minus 140 favorite, and the comeback on Murphy is a plus 120 underdog. What do you got?
This is one of those fights where you're like, I could have sworn they fought already, unless they're going crazy. But
no, I don't think they have.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not particularly interested. I'm not like, oh my gosh, this fight's gone down. Fingers, flip a coin. I'm going with Murphy.
Yeah, I'm leaning a little towards Murphy as well. I think she's looked good. I think she's on a 4-fight win streak. She's looking the best I think she's ever looked, to be honest with you. I do think she has a considerable grappling advantage. JoJo defends less than 60% of her takedown attempts against her. She's been controlled by numerous people for over 3 minutes on or more on the mat, especially like Ariane Lipsky was able to control her on the mat for almost 4 minutes. That's never good because Lipsky is a terrible grappler. And I think Murphy has a pretty good top game. On the flip side, JoJo does have good Muay Thai striking ability. She has a massive, volume advantage, but it only takes for her to get on her back once, and she's kind of stuck there. So I'm going to go with Murphy here. I think she's going to just come forward, be, the gritty fighter that she is, and just take this fight to the mat or grind it out against the cage. And just make it really tough and in close against Calderwood to keep out of the kicking range and to possibly get a gritty decision. All right, next up in the middle. No, I think this is going to be fought at light heavyweight between Eric Anders and Darren Stewart. Right now, Anders is a minus 150 favorite, and the comeback on Stewart's a plus 130 underdog. Who do you got?
Another one of those fights I'm not particularly interested in. I am just gonna go with Stewart.
Yeah, this is a really tough fight to call. I know Anders came in there and was beating Stewart pretty bad in their first fight, but I know Stewart during the COVID situation over in the UK, it was almost next to impossible for him to really get in some work. So I think we're gonna get a much better Stewart coming into this fight, fresher. I don't think he's gonna put on the type of performance that happened, in the first fight. So I think it's gonna be much more evenly matched. And I'm gonna go on a limb here and take Stewart at plus 130. I'm not gonna bet it. I just think I think it's just gonna get the win. It's just hard to call. I think they're so evenly matched in every facet of the game, whether it's striking or whether it's grappling. I think they're kind of really, really close that I really can't choose, to be honest with you. All right, we are up to our featured bout on the prelim at 155 pounds between Drew Dober and Brad Riddell. Dober is a minus 145 favorite, and the comeback on Riddell is a plus 125 underdog. Who do you got?
I think this is going to be another barn burner fight. I am going with Drew Dober. I think after taking that Islam fight, it's kind of like, what do you expect? But this fight against Brad Riddell is going to be totally different. And I think if we had to really look at the tools in the tool shed where he's training and possibly implementing some wrestling, I'm going to lean towards Drew Dober on this one.
We're actually going to disagree on this one. I'm actually not pretty confident, but I'm confident enough that I'm betting on Brad Riddell in this spot, to be honest with you. This is finally the first tailor-made fight for Riddell to showcase his striking abilities. The first time in his UFC career where he doesn't have to defend endless amounts of takedowns against actual grapplers. Dober's not a grappler by trade. He's only got 7 takedowns his entire UFC career, and that's across only 2 fights. So the chance of him taking him down and keeping him down, I don't see it happening. I mean, he's fought high-level grapplers like Mustafayev. Mustafa took him down 8 times, but he got right back up, and then he was beating the dog shit out of him, and he got the win. De Silva was able to take him down multiple times. He got back up. I mean, Jimmy Malarkey, so on and so forth. But I think this fight's going to be fought mainly on the feet and where Riddell is, at his best. You're talking about a guy that has over 60 kickboxing matches, New Zealand Muay Thai world champion. He's definitely the more technical striker. I think he's better defensively sound as well. And I think he's going to put on a really great striking performance here against a guy that's just going to come forward and just be in his face. And I think that high guard is going to serve him well, and he's going to beat up the lead leg and just throw nasty combinations and just put a hurting on Drew Dober and finally put him in, possibly the fringe top 15, or at least get possibly a top 15 opponent after this. All right. We're finally up to the main card. Our first fight on the main card is a great one between Paul Craig and Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill's a minus 290 favorite, and the comeback on Paul Craig's a plus 245 underdog. What do you got?
All over Jamal Hill on this one.
You going with Hill? Who?
Yeah, Hill.
Hill? Yeah, it's I want to go Hill, and I do think he wins. Just because I think he's a better striker. But something tells me to bet Paul Craig by submission at plus 550. Something tells me to pull the trigger on that bet because I feel the animosity that Hill has towards Craig. He's going to want to go out there and absolutely starch this man within seconds. And then if this fight somehow does get out of the first round, it's gonna be dicey for Hill. And no one has tested Hill's submission defense. Yes, his grappling and his wrestling has been tested with like Darko Stosic, but he has not faced a high level jiu-jitsu practitioner yet. And then in comes Paul Craig. If Paul Craig can weather the early storm, he could probably drag him into deep waters and maybe get a submission. I might take a shot on Paul Craig by submission at plus 550. I think that's a decent bet considering that's the only possible way he can win. And then at a crazy price like that, I don't see why not. But I do think Hill probably is the right side. I'm just taking a little bit of gamble on Paul Craig. All right, next up, we have a fight at 170 pounds between Damian Maia and Bilal Muhammad. Right now, Bilal Muhammad's a minus 225 favorite, and the comeback on Damian Maia is a plus 185 underdog. Who do you got?
This is an interesting fight, but I have a firm belief I never go against my boy Bilal Muhammad. So with Bilal in this one.
Yeah, me too. I'm actually fairly confident in Bilal Muhammad. He's exceptional. I would say he's really good everywhere. He's a very well-rounded fighter. He's got good wrestling. He's got good stand-up. He's got good jiu-jitsu. I just don't, and I don't think Damian Maia really has anything for him at this time of his career at 43 years old. He's slowed down considerably, and he just hasn't looked good. He hasn't fought in almost 2 years as well. I mean, he's fought early in 2020, so it's been well over a year. And then you're talking about Bilal Muhammad's been on a tear. He's won 8 of his last 9. He's finally getting a ranked opponent where he can finally fight the whole fight. And this will be the biggest win of his career, and he knows that going in. I think he's got that added motivation, and I think he wants it more than Maia at this current stage of their careers. So I'm gonna go with Muhammad. I think he's gonna be able to keep this fight standing, which he has 85% takedown defense, and just have his way on the feet, because we know that Maia can't strike with pretty much anybody. So I got Muhammad winning this one. Fairly confident in that one. All right. We're up to our first of 3 5-round fights with the return of Nathan Diaz and Leon Edwards. Right now, Leon Edwards is a massive minus 600 favorite, and the comeback on Nate Diaz is plus 450 underdog. What do you got?
It doesn't hurt to play Nate Diaz for a plus 400. So, fuck it.
I mean, I guess I see a lot of people, giving that out just because, it's value. Yes, there's value. But
I'm all over. Don't get me wrong. The inner fight fan is like, this is such an easy fight for Leon Edwards.
Yes.
The inner, fuck it, it's Nate Diaz. What's the worst that can happen? Plus 450, because I'm going to be kicking myself if you bet Leon Edwards and he goes out there and loses. So, fuck it. The smart bet is Nate Diaz here.
No, yeah, I agree with you there. You're not going to win any money betting on Leon Edwards, so I totally get why people are, taking the chance on Nate Diaz. But honestly, I think Leon Edwards puts on arguably his best performance of his career against Nate Diaz. I mean, Nate Diaz legit has nothing for him. In the grappling, in the stand-up, absolutely nothing. Talk about a guy that every time it's gone past the 3rd round, he's lost. He's never lost. He's never won a fight that's gone past the 3rd round of his entire career. He gets beaten to a bloody pulp in all of his fights. I think they're gonna eventually stop the fight between rounds 3 and 4, just for being beaten to a pulp by Leon Edwards. I think he looked great in the the first round against Bilal Muhammad. He looks in the best shape of his life. And he's looking to finally fight for the title. This is the easiest title contention fight that Leon Edwards can possibly ask for, because he's literally going to have a guy that's going to come straight forward and just throw down with him. Doesn't have to defend takedowns. Doesn't have to worry about anything other than just punching this guy in the face and just don't get knocked out. That's pretty much it. That's it. So I think Leon Edwards wins. Unfortunately, there's not much money to be made on his line at minus 600, but I got him taking this fight. So, and finally getting his title shot after Colby Covington. All right. And we're up to our co-main event for the flyweight title. That is Deiveson Figueiredo looking to defend his title against Brandon Moreno in the rematch. Right now, Figueiredo is a minus 210 favorite, and the comeback on Moreno is a plus 175 underdog. Who do you got?
It's crazy that we get this trade again on top of the Israel fight.
I know.
Man, I think you go with the coin flip. It's hard to go against Figgy, but after that Moreno performance, in which you can argue that he pretty much should have got the belt, I'm going with
Huh?
Moreno for the upset. I'm going with Moreno for the upset, man. Oh, Moreno, why not? It's a fuck it type of night. And we're
Right.
gonna get rich with Moreno and Nate Diaz for the upset. And all underdogs are hitting. $100 bet is gonna get us 20,000 tomorrow. And
Yeah, that's for damn sure, man. Imagine that shit hits.
yeah,
I like Moreno, man. That dude is a dog. He comes to fight. You know, he's got that Mexican pride, that spirit, that that dog in him. Like those Mexicans do. I just think he's a little bit overmatched here. We're talking about Figueroa had a cut twice in a month span. He had problems with his stomach for food poisoning, so he wasn't at his best, his best of the best. And on top of it, he's going from one guy, from Alex Perez to Brandon Moreno. He had no time to really prepare and to game plan for Moreno, so he wasn't going in there expecting to have to really grapple with Moreno. He didn't think that he was going to get taken down numerous times due to him throwing wild shots, missing, and him just ducking on there and getting body lock takedowns. I feel like he's going to be more composed. I think he's going to be, better on the feet. I think he's going to be more technical and not just trying to wing heavy shots to get him out of there. Because I think he knows going in now, he's not going to be able to just throw heavy shots, and blow through his cardio thinking he's going to get the finish. So I think Figgy's going to be the all-around better fighter and get the win. And mind you, he should have won that last fight as well if they didn't take a point away for the nut shot. Like, you're not going to even give him a warning. You're just like, fuck it, take a point away. That doesn't make sense. It didn't change the landscape of the fight, because you look at Moreno, he looked better after the nut shot. He looked great in rounds 3, 4, and 5. So how are you going to tell me that you're just going to take a point away right then and there? And then if you look at the scorecards, one judge gave him 4 rounds, and 2 other judges gave him 3 rounds. So you take that away, he won. So now I feel like it's going to be the same fight. He's going to win again and retain the belt. And I'm taking Figgy here. Minus 210. And it sucks because I really like Moreno, but, I have to try to be smart and pick the winner instead of picking with my heart. That sucks. All right. And we're finally up to our main event. The fight for the middleweight championship of the world between Israel Adesanya and Marvin Vettori. Right now, Adesanya is a minus 255 favorite, and the comeback on Vettori is a plus 250 underdog. Who do you got?
Man, this is a tough one, but I think we're going and new for the title. Only off of, as much as I love Izzy and his style and everything he brings to the game, I think we got a soaring Marvin Vettori, and Izzy coming off his loss. I think the momentum is on Marvin's side. And that first fight was close, man. That first fight
that was forever ago.
Once again.
And it was 3 rounds.
And new. I'm going with Marvin Vettori for the upset. $100 is gonna get us $30,000 tomorrow.
Man, imagine you hit that. Imagine. You'll be going like this. All over.
Exactly. Hey, DraftKings everywhere. If you hit that,
man, it's possible. I mean, Vettori has looked great. He's 5-fight win streak. He's been coming in smashing people. He smashed Jack Manson, smashed Kevin Holland. But I do think all those guys that he smashed are definitely inferior oppositions compared to Adesanya. Vettori hasn't even fought or beaten anybody in the top 5, during this win streak coming to the title. And he's arguably only has the title. He's in title contention because Robert Whittaker didn't take the fight. He's got family things going on. So if you really think about it, Vettori really shouldn't be getting this title shot. Robert Whittaker should be next in line. Robert Whittaker should be the one getting this fight. And I don't see much being different than the first fight. I know Vittori's going to land a couple takedowns, but he's not going to get a ton of control time. He only controlled him for 3 minutes of the 15-minute fight that they had. He only controlled him for 3 minutes. And you know that Adesanya is going to land at will. Vettori let Jack Hermanson land over 100 strikes against him during that 25-minute period. If he lets Adesanya land over 100 strikes, he's getting put away. And that's just point blank. He's getting put down. And I just don't think he has the grappling and the strength to keep Izzy on the mat like Jan Blachowicz. Jan Blachowicz had over 30 pounds on Izzy coming into fight time. And that's the reason why he was able to just lay on top of him for like 2.5 rounds. So I take an Izzy minus 255. Don't think it's, the best line. I do think he wins, but he should retain the title. And then I really want to see that rematch with Robert Whittaker. I think Whittaker, if anybody beats him at 185, I think it's going to be Whittaker. I think he's coming into his own since that last fight between the two of them, and he's looked absolutely sensational. And that's might be the only time I could possibly bet against Izzy, because I haven't his entire career. I have not. And I think against Whittaker, I might. We'll see. But yeah, I got Izzy winning. I think he probably ends it round 4, round 3, around that. But yeah. So that's what we got for this week's breakdown, UFC 263. But before we go, my man, where can everybody find you on social media?
All right, you guys can catch me at Why So Serious MMA on Instagram as well as Twitter. Facebook, I don't know. I'm getting some creepy people, so maybe a little cautious about accepting people on Facebook.
All right, you guys know where to find me. Fight Analyst LLC on Twitter, The Fight Analyst LLC on Instagram, and The Fight Analyst on Facebook. Guys, head over to thefightanalyst.com. Get my fight package today. We're making a ton of money. We just cashed in on PFL tonight. So we're looking to keep this momentum going. I got Bellator tomorrow, UFC on Saturday, and then we're going to keep this hot streak going. With that said, we will see you all cashing out at the ticket window. Until next time, you guys have a great night. Adios.